Mention the Erie Canal, and our minds will likely fill with old images and lyrics of low bridges, rising locks, and mule barges. The Erie Canal is one of the great engineering marvels of the 19th century and is at the center of America's pioneering past. Since its inception in 1825, the Erie Canal helped create a new culture of trade, access, and connectedness. Even though Thomas Jefferson called the plan a little short of madness, the canal nevertheless had a remarkable effect on American history, opening the pathway between the eastern seaboard and the Great Plains of the Midwest. The canal stretches nearly 363 miles across New York State, from the Hudson River in Albany to Lake Erie in Buffalo. Nearly 80% of upstate New York's population lives within 25 miles of the canal today. The Erie Canal became the main international gateway to Midwestern resources and peaked as a transporter of goods and people in 1855, amassing roughly 30,000 commercial cargo shipments that year alone. Initially, boats on the Erie were powered by horses that walked alongside the canal's banks. According to history professor John W. Percy of the Western New York Heritage Institute, the typical boat of 1825 carried about 40 tons of cargo, and one horse or mule could handle the light floating load. A second animal was kept in a stable aboard the boat. Every 6 hours, the animals were switched by running them over a horse bridge that was carried on board. After the canal was enlarged in 1862, teams of these hardworking animals pulled the much heavier loads. By the early 1900s, boats with steam engines began to replace the horsepower of previous years, and much later, diesel became the main fuel source for watercrafts on the canal. The canal endured until mass interstate highways and the St. Lawrence Seaway nearly caused its demise. After that, commercial shipments across the waterway declined dramatically. Replaced by faster and cheaper alternatives, the Erie Canal transitioned into a recreational hub for boaters, rowers, and fishermen across the state. But rising costs for commercial shipping have led to the Erie Canal's rediscovery. Businesses are once again finding waterways to be a fuel-efficient means of shipping and are revitalizing an infrastructure crafted nearly 2 centuries ago. In commenting on the return of commercial shipping, Carmela Montello, director of the New York State Canal Corporation, which operates the Erie Canal, said, "We anticipated we might have an increase in commercial traffic, but nowhere near what we're seeing today." So, where is the demand coming from? In a word, fuel. With the cost of fuel continuing to rise, businesses are seeking alternative methods for freight transportation and are recapturing the efficiencies of a floating shipment. Take, for instance, the pulling power of each freight mode for 1 gallon of fuel. An 18-wheel tractor-trailer truck can pull 1 ton of cargo 59 miles per gallon. A train can transport that same ton of cargo 202 miles per gallon, and a canal barge can transport 1 ton of cargo 514 miles. More than that, the benefits of waterborne freight go further than just miles traveled. In a 2010 report commissioned by the New York State Research and Development Authority and the New York State Department of Transportation, canal barges were found to be 3 times more efficient than tractor-trailer trucks. Further, studies conducted in the European Union and the United States found canal barge transportation to be an all-around safer means of transit, with 4 times cleaner air and, in comparison to tractor-trailer trucks, up to 7.5 times fewer environmental and social externalities, like asthma from air pollution. Owing to high congestion rates, idling times, and carrying capabilities, 120 tractor-trailer trucks could actually be replaced by just 1 canal barge. Companies along the Erie Canal have noticed an increase in shipping traffic and have heard about the money they could potentially save by using water transport. Some now send their cargo to shipping hubs like New York City. Total shipments on the Erie Canal rose from 15 in 2007 to 42 in 2008. In 2012, the canal saw a fourfold increase in average freight transit, and projections for future shipments are expected to be even higher. If fuel prices fall, it could decrease traffic on the canal in the years to come, as businesses continue to use conventional shipping methods. Still, long-term energy trends and a changing climate suggest that water transport may once again be a wise choice, and old infrastructures like the canal may soon be revitalized. When coupled with other localization strategies that minimize the use of materials and optimize overall goods distribution, the payback in resource and energy savings is multiplied. The story of the Erie Canal is just one example of people's innovation in returning to a less fossil fuel intensive way of life. Even though some may think of older systems like the canal as being outmoded or old-fashioned, people have used waterway transport for centuries for a reason. And who knows, maybe these forms of transportation will become the new normal.